like I said, Roger's been on before, and I'm going to tell one real quick story to kind of give a little background as to Roger's attitude about things. And so I was on, and I told this part of the story last time we were on a ship. We were having our operational readiness exercise was being graded. It's called an ORE, and the person that's grading it is Roger Hayden. So, the young SEAL platoons, we're getting graded and making sure that we know what we're doing. And at this point, Roger is a warrant officer, so he's a commissioned officer, and he's out on the ship with us, going, watching how we're planning and seeing how we're preparing our gear and making sure that we know what we're doing, like I said. Sure. And as a commissioned officer, you're supposed to be eating in what's called the wardroom with the rest of the officers. So, the military has officers and they have enlisted guys, and the officers are sort of the managers and the enlisted guys are the workers. Right. And as an officer on a ship, on a Navy ship, you have something called a wardroom, which is nice. They have, it's just a little, it's not even a little level up. It's pretty darn nice in the wardroom. I've eaten in both the wardroom and on the mess decks. In the wardroom, you have real silverware, and there's actually people serving you. Mm. So the wardroom is kind of nice. Well, Roger, as a warrant officer, is, permitted or authorized or supposed to eat with the rest of the officers. He's supposed to go get that good treatment. And Roger didn't want to eat with the officers. He wanted to eat with the chiefs. So then the middle management of the Navy is the chief petty officers. And there's chiefs, senior chiefs, and master chiefs. And they're like the backbone of the Navy. They have the tactical knowledge in the SEAL teams. And so Roger, instead of eating with the officers, he wanted to eat with the chiefs. Sure. And before he was a warrant officer, what were you, a senior chief before you were a warrant officer?
Master chief.
Oh, master chief. So he was already a master chief before he became a warrant officer. And so he started eating the chief's mess with all the chiefs. Well, some of the chiefs on the ship, they didn't like having an officer. Right? We don't want this officer in here. This is our territory, right? This is our area. Yeah. You can't, we can't. Why is this officer coming in here? Yeah. And so my platoon chief at the time was actually friends with Roger, but he was the guy that was building relationships with the chiefs on the ship and all that stuff, and so they knew him, and he was a senior chief, and they pulled him aside and they said, hey, hey, senior chief, it's kind of, we got this warrant officer, he's a SEAL, why is he coming in? Shouldn't be coming in here. He needs to go to the wardroom with the rest of the officers. This is the chief's mess. He doesn't belong in here. And so my chief was like listening to him. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure why you feel that way, but this goes on for a couple days. And finally, my platoon chief, and I wasn't there for this, but I got told the story. And my platoon chief was a guy from the South, and he had a great accent and talked in a very distinct manner. And so they get into lunch. I think it was lunch. They roll into the chief's mess for lunch, and Warrant Officer Hayden comes in, and he's standing in there, and he's getting a couple looks from people. And finally, my platoon chief stands up and says, can I ask everyone in here a question real quick? And they go, okay, what? And he says, well, this here is Warrant Officer Roger Hayden, member of the underwater demolition teams, member of the SEAL team, served 3 tours in Vietnam, highly decorated, including a Purple Heart for being wounded. And he was a master chief before he got commissioned, and he wants to eat with us in the chief's mess. Does anyone here have a problem with that? And of course, no one did. Nothing but crickets. And so Roger Hayden eats where Roger Hayden wants to eat.